Hey, what's going on? You're now tuned in to the PVD Horror Podcast. I'm Brandon, and on today's episode, I have director, screenwriter Stefon Bristol to talk about his new film Breathe, which stars Jennifer Hudson, Milla Jovovich. Breathe is scheduled to be released in theaters, VOD, and digital formats on April 26th. Stefon, thanks for coming on the show, man.
If you like all things horror and want to get the best horror news, interviews, and reviews,
Like, subscribe, and ring that bell to follow us and satisfy all your horror needs.
Yo, what's going on?
Not much, taking it easy, man.
Yes,
So,
sir.
I was able to check out the film, you know what I mean, check out your past films. And so I just want to just say, I want to give you your flowers, man. I enjoyed everything that you're doing in the game so far.
Thank you.
So I can't
Thank you,
even
sir, man.
I can't wait to see what's next. But I love that, you
Man.
know, that you stand out, like you're an artist who loves to make personal sci-fi movies about black characters that are laced with social, political commentary. Take us back to what inspired you to become a filmmaker to make these types of films.
Thank you, man. I grew up in Coney Island, Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? When I was there, as a kid, I was a very sheltered kid because, my family is Caribbean from
Okay.
Guyana. And so I've spent most of my time watching these, DVDs, like, the director's commentary, the behind the scenes. So, one of those DVDs I always watched growing up was Jurassic Park.
Mm.
And I got seeing Steven Spielberg do his thing, and listen to commentary on how he made the film. I've always been curious about. It's like now I'm very curious about being a director about, but it's not until I moved out to Long Island and I was 18 years old and I saw Do the Right Thing for the first time.
Mm.
I was like, oh shit, this
Yep.
is what I want to do. And I rushed downstairs and I told you, I said, Ma, I know what I do. I know what I want to study in college. She said, I'm not paying for your ass to study no film. And
Yep.
I saw, I worked, when I got to I went to community college first, studied something completely different.
Mm.
Then I transferred to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. And I just woke up one morning. I was like, man, I gotta pursue my dream as a film director.
Yeah.
And then, then I worked my ass off to get into NYU, graduate film school.
That's dope. So yeah, man, like you said, you studied at Morehouse in Atlanta, Georgia. What are some key things that you learned from these programs that you incorporated into your career?
Uh, the biggest key thing I learned is that with the subject matter I like to do, with characters like to do, is that us Black folks, we are not a monolithic group.
Hmm.
We are extremely diverse in our culture. When I was at Morehouse, that was the first time I really understood that. I know I'm from a Caribbean household, but but then I really understand that Black people in this country is very diverse. You got Black people from North, South, out west, and then I met Black folks from Africa, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, whatnot. That's the very first time, and then from Brazil.
Mm.
We don't all, Black Muslims, Black
Yeah.
Christians, Black atheists, Black Buddhists.
Hmm.
I met Black Buddhists before, and this we don't agree to the same thing. We all don't watch Tyler Perry. We all don't watch Spike
Yeah.
Lee. We all don't watch BET. Like it's so that's why that's why I made See yesterday in the Caribbean community, and Breed. I featured the guy in his flag a lot, just to remind folks that we are not a monolithic group. We are just as diverse or even more diverse than any other ethnic group on this planet.
Yep.
So I always try to bring something very specific
No,
to my
that's dope.
characters and to the culture, even though they're Black, but they're very specific
Yeah. No, that's
to a
dope.
culture.
It's definitely well needed, you know, in this
Mhm.
industry, you know what I mean, to kind of like, you know, like, and it's cool because you have somebody like you to separate and kind of show, you know, up and coming other black directors and writers and kids that want to be actors to
Mhm.
that they can like, you know, do this, you know, and that's cool. I appreciate that. Um
No
since
doubt. Thank you, man.
since you're a big fan of sci-fi, what are some of your favorite sci-fi horror themed films?
Oh wow, man. I would say I know you talk about horror on this show, but I'm be honest, I stay away from horror.
Yeah.
This is not for me. I don't like. I don't like being scared though.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I will say this. Like, for movies, I was inspired by Jurassic Park. Obviously, I was inspired by Back to the Future. Obviously,
Mm.
that always been my thing. Um, but if you want to get into it, man, I really loved Static Shock, the cartoon, man.
Okay.
That always been part of me.
Yep.
That cartoon always been a part of me, man. Like, yeah, but with horror, I would say Night of the Living Dead,
Yep.
Poltergeist, Child's Play, just the classics like grew up
Yeah.
on. I'm probably not deep like you, but just the classics I grew up on. Not me on Elm Street, but recently for video games, like I love video games. The Last of Us,
Okay. Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's
and Dead Space.
yep. Yeah, those are some classics.
Oh, yo, when I first played Dead Space, I'm like, that's the most scariest game. I know people play scarier game than that, but that to me, I was like, yeah, this is crazy. And then recently, Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yep.
So those are the video games and stuff that inspires me.
Oh, that's dope.
But I'm not, when it comes to that, I'm not deep like it's you and everybody else.
But
But it's all right.
but a film that stands out to me that I could see you being a part of, and or something that kind of like plays a big role in your life was like Tales from the Hood. You know what I mean?
Yes.
See?
I gotta make out about that. Yes. Yeah, I love that. I love that movie, man.
Yeah,
I love it.
because that speaks
Welcome
to
to hell.
you. Yeah, because with that film, that's what took up
You
to us,
feel
and
me?
it kind of showed us like, all right, like
Yeah.
our struggle is every day as as black people. That movie kind of showed all the themes and everything, and kind of like twisted it for us. And so, as a young kid, that played a big part for me. Showing me that things are different. Like I had Tony Todd on this show. You know what I mean? And we talked to him, just talking about how he grew up and how horror films and everything changed his life, and even how the character's Candyman comes across, So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, nah, but that's dope, man. Yeah, all those video games that you brought up, those are definitely dope games. Everybody out there, if you haven't checked them out, definitely check them out. But
They know what it is. They may probably be like, yeah, we know that one.
yeah,
We're not telling us anything we really don't know.
yep.
You don't have to skin in the game.
So now your mentor is the legendary filmmaker Spike Lee. He also helped you produce your debut feature. What are some key things that you learned from him, coming up in the game?
um, I think it's more of just observing him that I
Mm,
learned more than just him teaching me. I think I was his assistant on Black Klansman, and I
mm,
can never understand how he was able to do 10 hours because a standard shooting time is like 12 more hours during the day. He
mm.
would stop at 9 to 10 hours, go to the Knicks game at night, and come back 6 a.m. in the morning, fresh as a daisy.
Nah.
But just observing him and how he, maintain a sense of calmness and coolness on even though Spike, everybody knows Spike, he's intense. Like, what I'm saying, he's very serious, very focused.
Mhm.
So I just learned it from him that way. More than like him telling me anything. I think the biggest lesson I learned from him is to really make sure uh, that I channel my ideas of storytelling from a very authentic place.
Mhm.
That a place that I really know. For example, I might grew up in the hood. What I'm saying, I grew up in Coney Island, and I grew up, in a rough part of Long Island as well. And it doesn't mean I'm from it. I'm from a very sheltered, strict family.
Yeah.
My parents are Caribbean, the Guyanese, right?
Hmm.
Church every Sunday. When the street light goes on, my ass is home.
Come
I'm
home.
not outside. I'm home. I never experienced anything about violence, gang violence, nothing like that.
Yeah.
So when I made a movie at NYU, I made a movie about this kid robbing a bodega. These two kids robbing a bodega and whatnot. And
Mm.
Spike sat me down. He let me know that this is the most unoriginal, unauthentic film yeah, that like one of the most you ever saw. We cannot keep. We already have Boys in the Hood. We already have Menace to Society. We already have those kind of films. Not to say those films don't have merit, right?
Yep.
But I'm saying they're very specific from a very for filmmakers that understood and know that, and they coming from a very specific place. I'm not familiar with that. Yes, I grew up in Brooklyn, but I'm not familiar with robbing somebody or
Yeah.
and whatnot. So it felt like it was very unoriginal, and so he really like you got to make a movie that you really know and you love. So I said, but I'm from the hood. So, but you know what? I'm gonna try my a hood time travel movie.
Yep.
But with kids that were just with kids that feature me. I'm growing up. I love comic books. I love tinkering with things. I love just being a geek, a nerd. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's that type of thing I did with the characters. With CJ and Sebastian. They both are also from a very strict household, and so I use my experience onto those characters, and I have to make sure I maintain that kind of love. And that's the same thing with Breathe. But what
Mm.
attracted me to Breathe, right? It didn't have any black characters in it.
Okay.
When I first wrote it, it was upstate. When I first, I'm not wrote it, read it. Excuse me. And
Yeah.
it takes place in upstate New York on a farm, with a predominantly white family, right?
Hmm.
Then I say, you know what? I never see black characters do this, and I wanted to make sure that it's there. So I asked Thunder Road to say, hey, can we set this in Brooklyn and make this a black family? And it was totally with it. You know what I'm saying? Totally
Okay.
with it. And so like I really come from that, I already know that angle a little bit. So it's okay, but for them they wanted to elevate the script a little bit. It's like,
Okay.
okay, it's really cool. Like how are we gonna elevate this movie? Uh, set in Brooklyn, different ethnicity, which is perfect. But how do we get elevate it a little bit? And it's all right that I read the script a little bit, and I recognize that the characters all talk about their children. The mother always worried about the protection of her daughter,
Mm.
and these weirdos from Philadelphia. Not to say anything about Philly folks, you know what I'm saying? I love Philly. I
Yeah.
love Philly. Philly is the cousin city of New York. We fight all the time, but we all have the same love.
Yeah.
And but those two folks from Philadelphia is worried about their children back home. That's why they're out in this journey.
Mm.
I said, that's it. And a friend of mine told me that this reminds him of a Native American proverb that goes something like, we don't inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrowed it from our children.
Mm.
So I'm like, that's the thing right there. And we anchored the script around the protection of Zora.
That's dope. Now,
Yeah.
can you give a synopsis of the film for the listeners?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. So this movie takes place in the future when the earth no longer have any oxygen, and you have a mother and daughter living in a bunker in a safe haven for their own oxygen, while they have to ward off these two strangers from another city who wants to break in and hopes to steal their own life.
Yeah. This film's definitely, what I mean, heavy. You know what I mean? When I checked this film out, man, I was like, oh man, this is crazy. And then just to throw this out there, the script was written by Doug Simon. It was on the
Mm-hmm.
2019 blacklist. And for everyone listening that's not sure what the blacklist is an annual survey of the most like motion picture screenplays not yet produced. So how did you get involved with this project at first?
I just read it on the blacklist one time. I was
Okay.
like, I
Oh,
was just
okay.
yeah, I just got nominated for the Independent Spirit Award,
Yeah.
and it's like months after the release of my first feature film. And I'm like, whoa, I got nominated. People gonna meet me. I gotta.
Yeah.
I need another movie. Like damn, because at that time I was trying to get into television. I was trying to like be a director on a television show. I was shadowing Betty Boom on Black
Mm,
Lightning
okay.
because I was like trying to show like I made a first feature film I could direct. Can you put me on the show? That didn't work. Um, And then and Benny Boom was a great guy, great
Yeah.
fucking guy, by the way. And I read the script in the blacklist, and I read it. I was like, yeah, I can do this. I can really do this. But it was like I thought the blacklist meant like it's scripts that is free. If you didn't want just to pick, what up. But I've
Mm.
learned that Thunder Road already has it. Basil Iwanek already has it. If everybody know who Basil Iwanek is, big man behind all the John Wick movies. And I was like, oh, the John Wick producers want to do this. Let me see if I can. And they heard my initial vision for it, right? So I had to work my ass off on like 2 weeks just to pitch. But really like the pitch was hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know. And any filmmaker that's listening to this, you will never escape pitching. You will never escape. That will always be there. You're gonna dread it. You're going to hate it, but you're gonna have to do it.
Yep. Nah, yeah, I heard a lot of crazy stories, when it like pitching ideas, it's you got to go out there and separate yourself from so many people because it's not just you going out there for that film, and so just like you said, it was hard. So that was dope. So how did you prepare for yourself to sit there and come through with a pitch to separate yourself from everyone else trying to do the same project?
You it's basically is like you watch a lot of movies and ruminating on like, okay, how can I make this movie special
Mm.
and unique and different? Because if this other like supposedly when I was told, Basil told me like, hey, there's an A-list director that wants to do this film, but I don't like his idea. He wants to do it like in a Mad Max style and cast someone like Scarlett Johansson type of actress to attach to it, but we want to keep this contained.
Mm.
And to me, when I read that, when he said that, I said, "Oh, he's going to hire this guy. He's hoping that I'll come up with something fresh and original that he could say no to him." And I was ready. I was ready. I was already an underdog. So I was like, "Damn." So when I say Brooklyn and the black family, and I had to like make sure like, okay, I had to like do really visually tell them how does the action and scenes work in an urban setting, like
Mm.
urban warfare. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody around the corner, you can't hear them, you come up with the guns, all that. Like,
Yeah.
like Call of Duty type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I had to really sell them that kind of vision. Um, and then of course I had to do a visual deck of showing him step by step how it looks like and how I feel the world is like. So I did the whole deck, plus come up with my ideas of what cast members I want to go after and whatnot. Which I'm very happy with the cast we have right now.
Yeah.
And that took a while. It wasn't easy. It took a while.
Mm. You brought up earlier that, you were nominated for the Independent Spirit Award, but you also won for the best first
Oh yeah,
screenplay.
yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. I won.
congratulations
Yeah,
on that.
yeah. Nah, it
Congrats.
was 5 years ago, man. A
It
long
is
time
what it is.
ago.
That's big. That's
Yeah,
big, man. Because
thank you, thank you.
for everybody that hasn't seen See You Yesterday, definitely check that out. It's streaming now on Netflix. That's a definitely big film. So everybody, I want to put out their collection, man. Don't downplay yourself. That 5 years or whatever your award. That's a big
I'm
accomplishment.
not trying. I'm not downplaying. It's more of like I'm just trying to move forward.
Oh no,
You
no,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I feel
Yeah,
you.
yeah. It's about forward movement. It's also about respect for other filmmakers that was nominated that year as well,
Yeah, I feel you.
and their also upward climb in the industry because what we do, man, is not easy.
No, not at all.
What we do is not easy, and it also like I know other filmmakers that deserves the same spot I'm in or even more. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So I recognize where I am right now in the very privileged space because I'm like, damn, so and so didn't get the first feature made yet. And I
Yeah.
know these cats, man. I know these
Hmm.
cats. I talk to them every day.
That
Talk to
time's
them
gonna
every day.
come. That time's gonna come just like yours came. So
Yeah, yeah, but the system is so. Sometimes
I
the
know.
system make no sense for me, man. It's like, yo, they're good.
Hmm.
The same thing with my man Jennifer Cord Jefferson. That
Mm.
in the speech, you You gotta give, people a chance out there. You can't
Yeah.
have the same director gonna do the same thing over and over again. No.
Mm. But it's the same thing, like you said, how Spike set you down and said, like, look, you got to sit there and do this, you know what I mean, to kind of get where you were, you know what I mean, and it's cool because it's like
Yeah.
I'm able to sit there and talk to you, someone that Spike Lee gave game to, and I have another, director that I know that, John Singleton gave him game, before, before he passed away. So, this comes full circle because this is a great like learning experience for like black, actors and producers and everybody that's coming in the game to visualize like where how just giving support to somebody can take you so far. You know what I mean? And just like you're
Absolutely.
gonna sit there and give that support to somebody else to get them in the game. So,
Oh yeah, no, I I've mentored and learned from three awesome young filmmakers.
mm,
It was still a mentorship program uh, called Unlock Her Potential
okay.
from Sophia Chang's Unlock Her Potential, and one of them I pushed Monique. I pushed her to do a not feature film to do a short film. If you
Mm,
want to be a director, you gotta shoot movies. And a short film, like I tell filmmakers all the time, short films, a really strong short film, along with a feature script, a strong type feature script, will move you faster into success than you just trying to get featured film on. Because people got to see like, can you actually do it? And the short film is the best way to showcase that.
okay.
Showcase it. Very
Yeah.
important.
Uh,
That's
now,
that's why you have film festivals.
yep. And now, we talked about the cast and crew. What was it like working on everybody? Like, it was cool to see Jennifer Hudson play this role. You know what I mean? Like going because you see her
Yo,
coming up as a singer and like playing in certain movies like Dreamgirls and stuff. But then seeing her in the action like type sci-fi thriller, how was that for you to like help her direct that role?
first of all, when a producer told me, "What do you think of Jennifer Hudson for the role?" Right, I I was a little skeptical,
Mm.
but because I was imagining her with a shotgun, and
Yep.
I said, you know what? Let's do it. Jennifer Hudson with a shotgun. And
Yep.
like before I met Jennifer, I think it's before I met Jennifer, after I met Jennifer to talk about the movie. I remember I remember her reps was getting nervous because I said, I can't wait to do this movie because all I want to see is Jennifer Hudson with a shotgun.
Yeah.
That conversation went silent.
Ah, man.
But it's like, yo, you think about it, like if Jennifer Hudson had to shoot you,
Yeah.
you deserve to get shot.
Nah, definitely. Yep.
So but working with her, she is really awesome, man.
Mm.
Um, she wanted to know everything about her character, her world. Um, I had to make a huge deck for her about all the science about the world. Um, her background as her character, the inspiration I got for this film, for how I see her character. I really worked on for that. And every day she comes on set and she just asks very specific questions because she wants to really understand it. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? I remember like every rehearsal we would shoot a scene or rehearse a scene where the lights and everything around the
Yep.
house had to go off and on when there's an emergency.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot rehearse without that. She want to make look. I need this to feel real so I can give it to you. Because she really relies on her intuition.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and that for me, that kind of dedication and always asking questions, always challenging me to make sure I know my shit
Mm-hmm.
going in. I love that. I love that about her.
That's dope.
She was great. She was like, what I'm saying, like, being on set is, it's extremely stressful, and
Yeah.
she's stressed already, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to just gravitate towards Jennifer. I'm the director. I'm the person want to be keeping his cool.
Yep.
I was like, Jennifer, I'm stressed, and she would like, comfort me. I would just stand, I'll be stressed out. She'd be, and she was sitting there comforting me. She even gave me her own stress ball,
Mm,
and she was like a big sister, man. I really appreciate it.
that's dope. That's what it's about. Like hearing stories like this behind the scenes that just kind of get people motivated to sit there and do this type of stuff, man. So
Mm.
like you said, it was a stressful uh set, but what did you learn on this project?
But I didn't learn.
Yeah.
What did I learn? I learned that I learned through experience of it all. I really experienced learning that not directing every actor is not the same. You cannot direct every actor the same way.
Mm,
Every actor needs their own thing for them to thrive for their performance. Jennifer is a lot different from Milla. Milla didn't need, all the bells and whistles
mm,
for her to perform, or for her to rehearse. Jennifer did, which is fine.
yeah.
Um, you know what I'm saying? Like I had to tell Jennifer exactly everything in the script, everything in the scene, so she could be really into it. Mila come to me about what the scene was about, which everybody's different, and it's like and you have to meet everyone in a different space. And I come in with my own ego, thinking like, "Yo, I know exactly how I'm gonna direct these actors," and my plan always went out the window every day, every single day.
Yeah. That's dope, man. Um, so now, like I
Film,
said,
film school did not prepare me. Film school did not prepare me for this.
yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I always ask that question. Like, because there's a lot of people that have their differences on their opinions on school. You know what I mean? Like what it does for
Mm-hmm.
them and what it doesn't. So, it's that's why I always like to pick everyone's brain. Like, what was the experience like, So,
I will say this, me personally, I needed film school,
yeah.
because I at that time was living on Long Island. You know, all the filmmaking art community was in New York City. It's expensive and everything to and fro back Long Island. There's nothing on Long Island about, Long Island is not a strong artistic community.
Hmm.
I need to be in the city. And for me to get away from Long Island is like I have to go to film school because that's the only way I'm able to learn. And I want to be a director. I don't want to work as a PA on set for 10 years just to finally figure it out. It's what I learned in 3 years. And film school would have took me 10 years outside of it. So I needed it for myself. I'm not saying everybody needs to go to film school.
Yeah.
Whatever, there's no right or wrong way, you know, to try to be successful in this business. There's no right or wrong way. I know for myself that I needed it because I know what my limitations are,
Mm.
and I know the best way for me to learn, and I know I wanted to learn faster than any other opportunity. So I won't say like film school is the end all be all at all. Absolutely not. Hold on 1 second.
Yep.
My headset just went out.
Okay.
Yeah. So film school is not the end all be all. It's just stepping stone. I learned a lot, and it helped me.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about, man. Because some people, like you said, sometimes some people need that extra push or just that view that we're not able to see. So, and that's
Mhm.
definitely cool. And so now you're giving that to other people, that sometimes feel like they probably didn't need it, but like you said, it's just like everyone's different. Everyone's not the same. Just how you approach, the actors on your project. You can't. It's everything has to be different. Everyone's not the same. Everybody has different speeds that they're going at, and that's what it's all about, man.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so now, can you share any info on any upcoming projects? And can you tell the listeners where they can find you on social media?
Oh man, I have a up and coming project with the producers of The Watchmen, Lord Levin and Beatrice
Mm,
Levin, and also with Spike, called Gordon Hemingway and the Realm of Cthulhu.
mm, there you go.
And and that's about an American gunslinger who teams up with an Ethiopian princess to stop fascist Italians from raising an ancient monster from the dead.
Mm. Yeah. Can't wait to check that out. When's the release date on that, man?
Hopefully next 2 years.
Definitely, man. I definitely want you back on the show because I definitely want to check that out and talk about that because I just love the vision, that you put yourself in, like the projects that you sit there and align yourself with, man. Because
Thank
it's definitely different. You know what I mean? Like I'm glad Spike told you, you got to do something like different to sit there and incorporate what you truly love into your projects, and change the game. So
thank you,
definitely, man.
sir.
Definitely appreciate that. So Stefan, thank you for coming on the show. And for everyone listening, make sure you check out Breathe, April 26th in theaters, VOD, digital formats. You don't want to miss this. We'll be back next week with another episode. Until then, take it easy.
Peace.